Greetings everyone, welcome back to another video of NBA Sorare. And today I'm gonna talk about my top 3 low buys, low cap players to buy for this week's slate for week 4 in Sorare. Also gonna show you guys a few of my recent purchases on the website and just talk some strategy in general. But before we go ahead and get started, let me recap on my last video and show you guys how well I did in this last competition. So basically, in my last video right here, 3 days ago, I showed you guys what is my strategy and what is my lineup for week 3. And I was lucky enough for this lineup to be in the limited contender tournament at spot 92 out of over 5,000 people. So here you can see I had an amazing week. My lineup ended up to be at place 92 and I won myself a really nice reward. I still didn't open it. I'm gonna do it with you guys in this video in a minute. Now, if you want to get more of my picks, suggestions to hear about my strategy, as you can see, I did pretty well. It doesn't mean every week I'm going to do like this, but if you want to hear more about my picks, I'm planning to upload a video before every week of games. So you can just go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and which I talk about Sorare, and I also talk about topshot and the NBA in general. So with that in mind, I'm also going to shout out a friend of mine. His name is Kobe. He's the host of the Pro Sports Podcasters. I was lucky enough to be invited and talk some strategy on NBA Sorare. We had a really interesting conversation in his podcast. I think it's supposed to be uploaded this Wednesday. So if you guys want to listen to our conversation and we talked about our top 3 main things that we do to prepare to every week's slate of games. So you can go ahead and follow them on Twitter and also check their podcast on Spotify. So with that in mind, let's go back to NBA Sorare. So before I show you guys what are my top picks for this week's slate, which starts in roughly 5 or 6 hours, here's a little spoiler. Let's open my rewards, see what I got. So for the limited contender, I'm gonna get a tier 2 limited moment because only the top 10 people are getting tier 1. This is sick. It's so hard to be in the top 10 out of 5,500 people. And in the common competitions, one of them, I was lucky enough to get a tier 1. The other one, I didn't do so well. So let's see what I got. Hopefully we'll get something good. Okay, so in one of my comments, let me see what I got. I wonder if this is my common. This is my common tier 5 moment. This is my limited. But before we open the limited, let's see what is my tier 1 common moment that I got. Let's see. Golden State Warriors. That looks good. Oh my gosh, Steph Curry. Nice pull. Hopefully I'm lucky enough to pull something lucky just like I did in tier 1, in tier 2 in the limited card. Let's go. Let's see what I got. The Cavs. All right. Garland. All right. Is injured now, but overall it's a really solid player. I'm sure it's gonna give me some nice value during the season. It's a long season. I'm expecting him to come back relatively soon. I'm perfectly happy with these picks. I got Steph and I got a limited card of Darius Garland. I think it's going for like 40 or 50 bucks right now in the market. Yeah, so far so good. All right, so let's go to my cards and talk some strategy, guys. So in today's video, I'm gonna talk about my top 3 low buys, which means it's the top. I look at the slate of this week games and I try to see where I can find a lot of value in someone that doesn't take a whole lot in my points cap. For example, if I go to my last competition, which I just got the reward from. So this was my lineup. My team, here we go. This was my lineup. So I used two people that are that have low cap. The first was Javon Carter. His cap is 7 points. The second is Shaden Sharp. His cap was 11 points, but now it's 14 points. So as you can see, I used Javon Carter. He was only 7 points to use in the lineup, and he gave me 34 points. That's 5 times more than his points cap. So that's a major W. It's a 5x pick, and hopefully I can find something like this week as well. So let me show you guys what I had in mind. So this is my most sneaky pick of the week. In a few days ago, I got myself. His name is Ochai Agbaji. He was the 14th pick in this year's draft by the Cleveland Cavaliers, but it was traded to Utah in the Donovan Mitchell trade. The reason he's my favorite buy low player is because look at his points cap. His point cap is 0. Yes, that's correct. It's because he's a rookie. So and he only played his first 2 games during the last couple of days, and you can still use his points cap as a 0 until next week's competition. So if you get him now and you use him for your slate, basically it doesn't cost you anything to the points cap. He only had 2 games so far, played against Denver and Memphis, had 10 points and 13 points. Now, it's not a lot of points, but like I said, it doesn't cost you anything. So this will give you the flexibility to use some studs in your lineup because you will have more cap to play with. And whoever you choose, if he gives you more points than his salary, it's already a solid choice. So I know Utah Jazz are playing twice this week, and even if he gets me anything between 10 to 15 points, if he gets me more, it will be an amazing pick. But even if he gets me between 10 to 15 points at this low value, that is 0 in my points cap, it's probably the safest pick you can play, because at worst case scenario, you break even. It doesn't cost you anything. And if he doesn't play, then yeah, it doesn't give you anything. But I assume that if he played in the last couple of games, I assume they're going to play him. They have 2 games coming between Monday to Thursday. And I also know Utah want to tank because obviously they want to get Victor Wembanyama in the draft. So if you're a team that wants to tank, it's not the worst idea to play a rookie. So I definitely think he's going to play this week. And I think that's the safest low buy and low points cap card or moment that you can play. So this is my first recommendation. My second recommendation is actually Shaden Sharp. So I actually played Shaden Sharp in last week when I won, and he didn't do as good as I thought he will, but he still gave me 18 points. The game prior for that, he gave me 26. Now the reason it's so good is because his points cap is really low. Now it was 11 last week, so it's not as attractive as 14. Obviously, 14 takes up more of your cap, but I think he can definitely repeat these 2 performances with Damian Lillard being injured, and he was way more expensive last week. Let's go over some prices. Ochai Agbaji, my first recommendation. He's let me see. His floor is $14, so it doesn't cost you anything. That's why it's also a low buy. And let me see about Shaden Sharp. Shaden Sharp floor, it's not too cheap. but compare to what it was last week, it's a pretty decent price. It's $34 right now, and last week, that's in manager sales. Maybe if you go to card auctions, you can get him for cheaper, for like 20 something bucks. Last week, before the game started, he was going for roughly $65 to $70. I paid $44 for him. So I still think there's good value in picking up Shaedon Sharpe, and that's my second favorite low cap player. The last one is Colin Sexton. Partially for the same reason I like Agbaji, meaning the Utah Jazz are playing twice this week. They want to play young players. Sexton, when he goes off, he can have a really good game. He's the kind of player who, when he goes off, he has like a high ceiling potential. So I think it's a pretty good choice. Against Memphis, he played and had 27 fantasy points, and his points cap is only 17. Now, let me see who the Jazz are playing tonight. Tonight, they're playing Memphis, and they're playing Luka and the Mavs on Wednesday. So another reason I like it is because if they're playing the Grizzlies, it's going to be a fast-paced game. If you watch the Grizzlies, you know they play really fast, and it's a good potential to be a high-scoring game. So I really think Colin Sexton has a potential to just go off in one of the Jazz games. He can definitely repeat 27 fantasy points performance, and he can even give you above 30. So I think it's a good foundation for your lineup to start with either Ochai Agbaji or Sharpe or Sexton, because in every lineup, you probably want to have at least one or two players that they have a low points cap, so you can have room for your studs to play. And this is what I thought of this week. If you have any ideas, think I missed anything, feel free to share it in the comments. And generally speaking, besides those low buys, I really like Paul George this week, because even though he was a disappointment in the last couple of games, I think the Clippers are playing the Rockets this week twice, and they're playing without Kawhi. So I think Paul George's ceiling could be really high in either of those two games. I also like Benedict Mathurin because he scored 32 points against Brooklyn just a couple of days ago, and they're playing Brooklyn tonight. His points cap is only 31. It's not too high, not like Halliburton, which is 43. And the reason I like it is because Mathurin can go off any night. For me, he's the most impressive rookie so far. I'm not saying he's going to win Rookie of the Year, but I'm so impressed with what I see from Benedict Mathurin. And the Nets have the worst defense in the NBA right now. They are ranked dead last. They're number 30 out of 30 teams as far as defensive rating. And any stud that plays the Nets with their defense wouldn't be a bad decision if his points cap is not over around 30 points. So this is some of my thoughts for this week. I also like Anthony Simons at 29. And I still haven't decided on my lineup. I'm about to do it soon. And that would be pretty much it for today, guys. So as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, if you guys want to hear me talk more strategy on NBA Sorare, you can go ahead and look for the Pro Sports Podcasters. The podcast is going to be up in the air in a couple of days, and you can give it a listen. And that was pretty much it for today, guys. So feel free to share in the comments which players you are going for this week, which low buys you are targeting in the marketplace. And I hope you got some value out of this video. If so, feel free to share like or leave a comment. And that's it for today. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.